Well, you start to look at these teams that won yesterday. The Bills holding off the Steelers. I thought the Steelers, even when they were down 21-0, whatever that score was, they scored a touchdown right at the end of the first half, and I texted the Danettes, and I said, Pittsburgh's in this. They're not going away. And it was a one-score game, but give credit to the Bills. When they needed a score, they got one. Josh Allen was wonderful, 3 touchdowns, and he ran for one. Buccaneers over the Eagles. That'll be the headline grabber there, 32-9. Baker Mayfield threw for 337 and 3 touchdowns. We'll talk about the futures of those teams that lost. And as I sent a text out last night, if I was going to sum up yesterday's football, it would be pain, Sylvania, with both teams losing there.
Well done.
Thank you.
Bloop.
Yeah.
Bloop.
Yeah.
Bloop.
Just throwing it out there. But thank you, Todd. I appreciate that. All right, 877-3DP Show. Email address, dp@danpatrick.com. Twitter handle @DP Show. Got a play of the day, stat of the day, brought to you by Panini America, the official trading cards of the program. And we'll settle on a poll question as well. Coming up, we'll talk to Steve Young, the Hall of Famer, former Niner quarterback. And Reggie Bush will stop by as well. USC quarterback Caleb Williams waited till the deadline. He announced that he was going to announce that he was going pro. Bill Belichick interviews with the Falcons. It feels like the Falcons may be interviewing Bill Belichick, or did Bill Belichick interview the Falcons? And Jim Harbaugh talks to the Chargers. Those were the coaching moves yesterday. Also, there's a question, I think, a big question mark surrounding the Eagles with Nick Sirianni. He didn't want to talk about it. Wisely didn't want to talk about it after the game. But it seemed to be hanging there that team did not play inspired football last night. And I never understand that when a coach said, I didn't get them ready, it's on me. How's that possible? The last 2 months, they weren't ready. And it's your job to get them ready, to put them in the right place at the right time. And maybe let's all agree to tackle. You know, it's a fundamental flaw that you find with defensive backs now. Tackle. Yes, Eden.
Yeah, I don't know how many swords a coach can fall on at one time, but Nick Sirianni seemed to fall on them all last night in his press conference because he was like, I don't care about these guys. I don't care about myself. I just care about these guys. I just care about these guys. My future, I'm not worried about that right now. I just care about these guys.
Here's the Eagles head coach about his coaching future.
I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about the guys. Again, there's a lot of guys in that locker room, all the guys in that locker room, every single one of them that put their heart and soul into this. I'm not worried about me. I'm not.
Well, I might. I might worry a little bit about it.
You know what? It's not their fault. It's my fault.
Yeah.
I didn't get them ready. That was on me.
Okay, if I'm the owner, then I go, well, then that's easy. I make a change. I change you because you didn't get this team ready. When they were 10-1, and we were looking at, okay, they're going back to the Super Bowl. You had just beaten the Bills, and we looked at Philadelphia and said, okay, they might be not as formidable as last year, but good offensive line, good defensive line, skilled position, shaky secondary, Jalen Hurts, more experience. Okay. And then all of a sudden, they stopped playing. I think the 49ers game ruined their season. I think that's where you go, oh, my God, there is a big difference between the Niners and the Eagles. That was 42-19, I believe. Then they lost 5 of 6. And then, okay, they're favored on the road against Tampa Bay. Give Tampa credit. They played well. They won 5 of their last 6. I don't think anybody thought they were going to be a playoff team. And then they are. And here they are. And Baker Mayfield played well. Defense played well. But you can't help but look at the Eagles because of the expectation level. We didn't have expectations with the Buccaneers. Therefore, we're surprised. I guess I'm surprised with the Eagles at how bad they played down the stretch. And you keep waiting because you got veterans there. By the way, Adam Schefter reporting that Jason Kelce looks like he's going to retire. He'll be going to the Hall of Fame. Travis's brother, and he looked like a guy who was going to retire last night. At the end of the game, emotional, acknowledging his family in the stands there. But with the Eagles, there's a lot of talent there, but it just felt like something was missing. Well, sometimes what's missing is the right coach for that team. And Nick Sirianni seemed to be the guy that you scripted to be that head coach for them, going to the Super Bowl. But They had some injuries. I know everybody does. They lost 2 coordinators. Not many teams do that. When you're successful, you lose coordinators. They became head coaches. And it just didn't feel like they were ever on the same page. Even when they were 10-1, I think people were looking at them as not a true 10-1 team. And there were a lot of close games, but I always say it's like the Chiefs. They keep you in the game, but what happens at the end? They win. And the Eagles were winning those games. But last night, man, it didn't look good at all. And then when Hurts gets us, the safety, and I go, you can't. How do you get a safety when the ball is snapped at the 13-yard line? But they did. And the Eagles bow out. And now you start to look at this division. Washington gets a new head coach. Dallas probably getting a new head coach. Does Philadelphia get a new head coach? Brian Dable will be the senior member of the coaching tree there in the NFC East. And his job might be in jeopardy after next season. But Tampa Bay played well. Baker Mayfield played well. And he's a true free agent, by the way. But it seems like, maybe he's found a home there. But also, I think when you look at Baker Mayfield, there were people who just didn't like him. He's like Johnny Manziel. When he came out of college, there were people who had question marks about him. His attitude, his arrogance, his confidence. And he did okay in Cleveland until he didn't do okay in Cleveland. And then he's bounced around a couple of places. But I truly think what happened when he went to the Rams with Sean McVay really helped set him straight on being able to play the position. And now you're in Tampa. Maybe you have some stability there with your offensive coordinator and your head coach. It's his last chance to be the starting quarterback in the NFL. Because if not, then you just become a backup quarterback. And he played well. He played well all season. You didn't hear much from him. I think we asked for Baker Mayfield the entire season to come on the show, and I don't think he did many interviews. If he did, maybe they were just local interviews. But congrats to them. I'm looking at the lines. DraftKings, the Buccaneers are getting 6 against the Lions in Detroit. The Chiefs are getting 2.5 in Buffalo. The Texans getting 9.5 against the Ravens. And the Packers getting 10 versus the Lions. Watching Buffalo, it felt like, man, here's a knockout punch. And then Pittsburgh went down but got back up. And then all of a sudden started swinging back. And look, Mason Rudolph is not a starter in the NFL. Tony Romo thought he was the second coming of Geno Smith. This guy's been in the organization for a while. You used a first-round pick on a quarterback. You bring back Mitchell Trubisky. Mason Rudolph has been there the whole time. Did they play well enough to stay in that game, maybe make it even closer? Yeah, they did. They didn't have T.J. Watt there. They have a running game. They got some quirky wide receivers. But I wonder about Mike Tomlin's future. He's got 1 year left on his contract, and it sounded like this after the loss.
Mike, you have a year left on your contract.
Yep, that's it. He didn't answer the question.
Yeah.
He started walking.
That's the best.
When
I love that.
The question started, and he started walking.
I love that soundbite.
Yeah. I don't know why he didn't just say, yeah, I'm the quarterback, or I'm the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now I have more questions because of that. And I did say this earlier in the week, that a TV executive said would not be surprised if Mike Tomlin gets into TV sooner than later. He's only 51. And he might come in for a little while and then go back into coaching. I mean, he's been doing this for, 17 years? Since he's, 34? And we've seen coaches do this. When I was at the mothership, Denny Green came in, Marty Schottenheimer, Parcells came in. You had guys who came in and then almost got a reprieve, a pit stop, and then rejuvenated and then went back. And maybe that's what Mike Tomlin's going to do. Maybe he coaches another decade in Pittsburgh. They haven't won a playoff game since 2016. Yes, he gets you to the playoffs. Yes, they're always above 500, but you're still in no man's land without a really good quarterback there. And if you look at the quarterbacks in your own division, I mean, you got Lamar Jackson, the MVP. You got Joe Burrow there. Deshaun Watson is still a high-end quarterback. And you guys have a good running game, and you have a good defense and probably the defensive player of the year. So there's still things to build upon there. But I wonder with Mike Tomlin, like at some point, you just say, I kind of need to recharge here. And maybe I'm reading way too much into it. Would he be up for the job in Dallas? You know, could he be traded? I mean, there's so many things that you can speculate on, but he didn't help that last night. When he walked out, as soon as the question's asked, I'm like, all right, okay, I like it. Somebody's going to ask he walked out. See ya. That's my exit interview.